there.
Really?
Some different people you talk to. When you talk to Harvey Jr., he wasn't on the Waco pottery side.
No.
Wasn't exactly his
Well, you
time.
couldn't blame him.
No, it's just
That's nature.
riding with the ship you're on.
Right.
Standing for what it
That's a
believes.
good way to put it.
Walter he's always spoke openly about the Waco pottery. Didn't sound like much envy in his voice.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, Ed.
I'd say he was bitter. Or had been, it was.
So you've got a jug in there from Grinstead?
Yeah, G.W. Greenstead brother.
Is it the one at the pottery when your stepdad John Cockler bought it from Mr. Grinstead?
I don't know. No, I bought, let's see.
You bought the jug?
Yeah, I bought the jug. Mr. Lamb that used to work for the register, he had a little second-hand store, junk store as we called it, down here at Mobley in that old store. And he brought it up and wanted to know if I wanted to buy it, and so I bought it from him. I believe I paid $16.
Was there one around there? Was there a stoneware piece in the pottery when your dad bought it? Or do you know?
I don't know.
Oh,
No.
okay.
No, actually, it was my step-grandfather that bought it from the Bumstars. So I've got one that says B. Bumstar, and then I've got one that says G.W. Grinstead and brother. And my step-grandfather bought it in 1906.
Your step-grandfather brought it
Bought it in 1906.
from Mr. Grinstead?
From Bumstar.
From the Bumstars?
Yeah, right. Yeah, and see, but so there must have been, it says by that one saying G.W. Grinstead brother, there was at least two of them, and I reckon, started in it.
So now I'm back to the pottery. This is Speedy Denny, Lois Easterling I'm talking with here. What's the date, Speedy, today? It's the 5th of March? 5th?
May the 5th, 2013.
Okay. What time is it? Let's see, I got my watch here. 3:30?
3:30 in the
Okay.
afternoon, Sunday.
It's kind of a rainy day. Yeah.
A good, nice spring rainy day.
Good day to sit around the house and talk.
Perfect day for it.
And take naps.
I had some coffee before I came, try to keep from falling asleep. I think we could all sit back in our chairs and fall asleep if we wanted to. So let me see, I'm gonna get back to the pottery there. So they got the drying sheds, they run all the way to where the pug mill, or the machine that puts out the towel is, on 2 sheds.
Yeah,
And just full of towel.
right.
So what then, did they ship that out, or did people come by and buy their own?
I think they came and got their own.
Just came and
most
got their own, came with a wagon and got their own. I'd say they probably did pretty well selling tile.
Yeah. Well, as I said, they did in the early 30s, especially like when they got to building the new schools.
Yeah, build the new schools.
Yeah.
So that's the tile in the back. Let's see. That's the, yep. So the front room you went into, the pottery, that's gone. You got a front room, then you got the part where the mule was, where it was open and they did glazing in there. Then you got the rooms where Mr. Stone.
Enclosed, yeah, where he turned.
Yep, the dean was in there.
Foreroom.
Did you just walk into that room where the pottery was? Was it right on the ground, or what? It was up off the ground?
The middle part wasn't, no, it was ground.
But the showroom.
Oh, the showroom, yeah, it had floor.
Yeah.
And shelves.
Yeah.
And we had a big old roll-top desk in there.
Mm-hmm.
And when people would, what few people would come and stop and look, and we were playing around, we'd go in and stand. Can't you imagine us standing there gawking?
Oh yeah, just look at strangers.
We didn't want to miss anything.
They probably said, "Go on and get out of here, so these people can buy something. Don't bother them. We'll need some of their money."
Then later, when we closed, they turned that into a dwelling, and a young couple that married, Elmo Dennis and Anna, they lived there 2 or 3 years. And Daddy was working at the ordnance, and the man, Elmo Dennis, was farming, and I think maybe they were still making a little bit of tile or something. But anyway, of course, the World War II came in there.
Yeah, all the men left
Yeah.
for the
And,
war.
But then finally we just closed out, period. And as far as I remember, the Nielsen's, I think maybe they could buy some of the turning wheels or something, any, something they needed or wanted. I don't know. I don't know if they got their glazes from the same place or not. The envelope we had was from England, wasn't it?
Mhm.
So then, let's see, so there's 2 tubs in the top there, they're still there, but they had the
Really?
glaze and it had balls in it.
Well, yeah, that's where they
Yeah,
mixed
so
it.
how did they have a motor on it to turn?
Yeah, they did. I think they had electricity by then.
Oh, so, okay, so they had electricity by
Now, I
then.
don't know what they did before.
Yeah, how they turned it before. So I wonder when they got electricity, when they get electricity through there. When you were a little girl, did you have
Well,
electric?
yeah, we did in the 1928, yeah, our
Okay,
house.
okay.
Yeah, we had electricity and we didn't have a phone.
Mm-hmm.
And a man had car trouble and he stopped and came, knocked on the door, and Daddy went to the door and he said, I've had car trouble, could I come in and use your phone? And Daddy said, we don't have a phone. He said, what's those wires coming in here? Daddy said, if a light bulb will help you, come right on in.
Mm-hmm. But they had phone up and down the road though, didn't they?
Oh yeah, my grandmother had one. Mom didn't want to get a phone. She said the kids would be calling and wanting to know things about school, but I found out later it was my grandmother. She would worry.
Oh, right. Grandmother would have been calling.
In-law, mother-in-law.
In-law would have been calling funny.
Yeah, so I figured
Yeah.
figured that out better than I did all in the ring but me. Because later on we did have to have a phone, but we didn't start with one.
So Uncle Ed, he was real sweet to you then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, as I said, he'd say, Lois, I'd kind of try it every once in a while, and he'd say, you don't hold your mouth right. Of course, he kept his tongue out.
Yeah. I've done all the time he threw a pot, did he?
Yeah.
Was he left-handed?
I don't know. I can't remember. But I can see him there in that, there was a window around his place, and then there was the boxing Paul's place, and then another window, and then the shed where they kept the clay that was ready to use,
So they kept the clay in the shed.
Uh-huh.
But
I mean, the kind that was going to be used.
Yeah, after
They'd soak it down. See that where the mule, just the one mule or
Mhm.
horse ran in that open shed, and they'd so much water and so much clay. I mean, I don't know that they measured it, but
there
they
was
used,
the pictures of the Corneliusons, they had a riveted steel tub about this big,
Yeah.
and it had a big post that went down in it with some sticks coming out of the post, and then the mule turned
Yeah,
around,
yeah,
and that,
yeah.
they had the same,
yeah, same type.
yeah,
Yeah,
mix it up, so then they'd take it out of there, they'd dig it out of there, and then
and
it didn't feed out of there, and then they'd bag it up or something there.
they'd wrap it up and put it in this little closed room and gunny sacks that were damp.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then
Mhm.
now when we got the clay from Ohio, which we had, or thought we had to, it was a lot lighter than ours because people were wanting light colors.
Yeah, it's the white clay that they used
Yeah.
for a while. Came from Ohio.
Yeah. See, that's where one time Nellie Alexander down here bought some pottery, the first that people were starting kind of trying to sell it, And she said, I bought some Waco pottery and said, you can have it if you want it. And I went down there and looked, and it was white, and it had Waco, and I thought, uh-oh, somebody's got a hold.
It looks different than any you've seen.
It's going to be counterfeit. And then it finally soaked in, and I remembered they got clay from Ohio that was light and mixed.
Uh-huh. So they didn't mix that with anything though. That's what they used, was just the Ohio clay.
Yeah. Well, sometimes I think they put our clay in with it because we've got some different shades.
Yeah. Yep. It's all real light to real brown.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that real brown didn't make good with white glaze, I mean.
Yeah, make it a light colored clay. Yeah, and we see them strawberry pieces mostly that we see that white clay on, and it's
Yeah,
makes the strawberry look different.
yeah,
Orangey looking.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the dark
Yeah.
clay. That's the dark clay.
Yeah,
That's the
that's a
light
light,
clay.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And those are the dark clay. The
So let's,
hurricane
where
ones.
was the room? I'm trying to get a whole picture of the pottery now. The room where they kept the clay. Where was it?
Okay,
the
facing the
room.
road.
Yeah.
There was big open doors there,
Mhm.
because you took the mule or horse in and
Mhm.
out, and all, and there was the turning mill. And if you
Mhm.
went to your right, out of that opening, there was a door, and you went
Mhm.
into the turning room.
Yeah.
And where they kept the clay was right here on your right.
Okay, so it
Like,
was
kind of
just
like
in,
a little cellar, I mean.
Yeah.
But, you know, so the clay wouldn't, and they kept wet
So,
gunny sacks.
Yeah, to keep it damp. It was the little cellar that was a little shed off of it or something, or just,
It was just part of that room.
okay, so it's in that room.
Yeah.
Yeah, they kept all the clay right there.
Right, right.
Right, the Nielsen's used their little offset on
Yeah, the little stone
on that
building,
cool
which is
room
perfect,
storage,
yeah.
like a little refrigerator or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah, a little stone building.
Keep things from drying out.
Mm-hmm.
Keep away from the heat and the wind
Yeah,
and everything
yeah.
else. Keep it-
Yeah, that's where. And
Well,
they-
so there used to be a pond there that is gone now that I understand. Right behind there, was there a pond?
No branch.
There's a branch
It's
there.
still there.
Yeah. So I heard there was a pond there,
Yeah,
but there wasn't a pond, it was just a branch.
branch. And it was a wider. See, up by the house, well, you could almost step across it. But down there by the pottery,
It gets wider.
it's wide.
Yeah, still a little wide.
And we want to wade in it, and they wouldn't let us much because they're afraid there was a lot of broken stuff in it.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't, but it looked better to wade in than what we had by the house.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we played in that branch too. We waded, and sometimes we'd catch a little fish about that long.
Oh boy,
Yeah,
little kids can catch a little fish in
yeah, we occupied ourselves with fishing and riding our tricycles and aggravating the people at the pottery probably.
So the branch was spring fed from the springs.
further up there.
Yeah,
It's
A
sort of,
couple of them up there by me, that place we looked around
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
afternoon, there's some
Yep.
nice springs pour out of there.
yeah, it comes from all the way above.
And the other
Cold
branch
water.
comes from behind Waco School around this way. So about right where the pottery is,
Oh,
where
yeah.
they both meet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
makes it pretty
constant,
big.
continuous
Yeah.
water supply.
They even used that Fike Spring, supplied the school there for a few years. Because, you know, there wasn't any such thing as city water.
Yeah, so it had to have a good water supply.
Well, this has nothing to do with pottery, but it just emphasizes that I used to speak my piece,
no.
but the branch, you know, ran behind the house. Of course, we always had cattle in the field between, or usually between the house and the pottery.
Mm-hmm.
And, but anyway, we, of course, had gone out of business by that time, but they still had cattle, you know, in there. And so the school decided they wanted to pump the sewage. They were getting a new sewage plant or something, anyway, where all the sewer went. And they were gonna pipe it and wanted to put it in that branch so it'd take it on off, so.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
And so we didn't much want that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Daddy didn't want, he said, no, he didn't want the cattle eating sewage. So Mr. House was superintendent at that time, and I was, I guess, teaching at Central. So anyway, we went to the board members and we kind of asked that we prefer it not to be run down that way. And so somehow or other, one day I got kind of wild and I said, oh, I know, Mr. House, they said it was 99 and 44 100s pure. And so I said, well, okay. And I said, I'll pour. And I'll be glad to pour Mr. House the first glass. And later
Clear
on.
that up.
Huh?
Yeah, they clear that up that quick.
Yeah. And so Mr. House later told me, he said, I heard what you said, that you'd pour me the first glass. I said it, and I'll still do it.
I don't think he ever drank that glass of water, did
I
he?
doubt that he did, I doubt.
What'd they do with the sewage?
So they finally ran it down though. On the Ben Shepherd let them have the right of way, and so of course what they do come down on us anyway.
Yep.
Then I had something with Mr. Condor with electricity. They wanted to put a big old pole back in the backyard from the school because they'd added a room or something. I mean, this wasn't too long. I mean, it's been, well, in the last 30 years, I guess. They wanted to put this big old pole right in the middle of the backyard. Well, Mom enjoyed the backyard and watching the squirrels and that old pole right in the middle. So he came out and I kept saying, can't you put it farther over next to the fence? You know, the line fence.
Yeah.
Finally, he said, you may know how to teach school, but you're not an engineer.
Uh-oh.
Nope. Not too good at it. But they put the pole where they wanted to.
Oh, well, wasn't any. Oh, hard to tell an engineer or anything.
Yeah, so I've mellowed a little bit. But I don't like to be run over.
So you were married, what was your husband's name?
Delman Easterling,
Where was he born?
Morgan County.
Yeah.
Met at Easter.
You met at Easter.
Yeah. Of course, he'd had heart problems, and then all they knew to do was to give you blood thinner.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
they didn't test.
Yeah, yeah, for blood thinner. Yeah.
But they didn't check to see what his too.
Yeah, too thin.
Right. So he had 2 heart attacks. So the third one, he was cleaning out the fence row over here with the neighbor, Mr.
Yeah.
Hackler.
Yeah.
So that was, we married in October and he died in 75. It would have been 25, we'd have been married 25 years if he'd lived to October. John was 16 years old when he died. Yeah, so.
That's your son?
Yeah, and he died in 2008, heart.
Your son did?
Yeah, he had to
Yeah.
have open heart surgery and
Mhm.
stuff. And of course, they'd ask, he was adopted, and then they'd ask, you know, do you have this, and then your family. Of course, you know, yeah, my dad died of a heart attack, but yet we had to explain, but he's adopted, so there's no.
No, medical history
Yeah.
can really go. Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
But all
sorry
of his
about that.
people lived to be, his dad lived to be way up in his 90s. But he was in World War II, so I have a
Mhm.
feeling some of it was wear and tear.
No, it wasn't.
Because he was in battle, they were in the Battle of the Bulge.
Yeah, 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 horrible war. Sure was. Yeah.
And of course, as they all do, none of them wanted to talk. I mean, he talked very little about it.
Yeah, yeah, my dad never wanted to talk about the war. No.
In his
Sure,
little
take it
diary, it had, I know, you know, when we got married, and then I put it with his things and all, we was looking at it about every other day he'd have in it. Sure, we'll be glad when I get home.
Yeah, oh yeah. Not having any fun here.
He was anti-aircraft. The
Mm.
gun.
Oh, that wasn't any fun. Yeah. Bombers coming toward you and you're trying to shoot them down,
Yeah.
coming straight toward you. And, yeah,
Every day.
yeah, yeah, lots of them too.
So,
Yeah, war's no fun. Yeah.
and it looks like we get into more instead of less.
Oh, just men. It's men.
Big red.
Yeah, it's men. Yeah, he's got the biggest gun. And, women are in charge. Not many sons would go to war. They'd go right off the bat. They'd send older men to war, but they'd send Congress to war.
Yeah,
They
right.
wouldn't get on the bus. They say, hold on,
Yeah,
we got more
right.
sense than that.
Mm-hmm.
They send a bunch of young men out to defend each other, and they're a team of,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what they do, keep each other alive.
Right.
Yeah. Well, Margaret says hi. I talked to Margaret lately.
Really?
Yeah. Margaret says hi to you.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Larry says hi. Talk to Larry too.
Okay.
Larry Hackley.
And Margaret's still got her sugar chest, I guess.
Oh yeah. Yep. Oh yeah. I say, you know, we were starting to talk about the 92-year-old woman.
Oh, yeah. How'd we
Yeah,
get off?
what was her? Oh, it's easy to get off the subject here. what was her name? What's her name?
Catherine.
Oh, yeah, Catherine Taylor, yeah, okay, yeah.
And they lived above the pottery or what?
No, they never did live on the
What was her husband's name?
Charlie.
And he worked at the pottery.
He worked at the pottery, he fired the kiln,
Yeah,
and he liked Mr. Ebb stuff.
yeah,
Called him, always addressed him Mr. Ebb.
yeah, well, we all, yeah, said, and I think though my daddy was just John M.
Uh-huh.
But, yeah,
Well, I'd say they had lots of respect for Mr. Ebb because
oh, yeah,
he sure was a fine potter. I mean,
yeah,
Yeah.
he was very,
amazing artist.
Mhm.
Yeah, lots of respect. The stuff he turned out that we
Oh,
see
yeah.
nowadays, just, yeah, something to really be proud of. So, you remember her?
yeah.
Oh, mm-hmm.
You know, not a whole lot, I mean,
She's older than you.
yeah.
She's an old one.
Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna be older the 19th.
Oh, well, happy birthday.
Thank you, thank you.
Coming right up here.
No, she was real, and it said Charlie would let us ride an old truck when they'd be hauling something around. Why, if it wasn't, it was just rare there, you know, not very far off the beaten trail. Why, we'd all get in that and he'd drive us. He was a good driver.
That wasn't the truck. What'd you call it?
Well, no,
Let's
that's
see.
the struggle buggy.
The struggle buggy, yeah.
It didn't have a top on it.
Man,
It
so-
looked just like the Clampets.
yeah, you told me about the
Uh.
struggle buggy. That's the.
And I think that was the time they took something somewhere and Mr. Ebb was driving. And he said, John, have we met or passed any Greyhound buses today? Daddy said you might see some, but you're not likely to pass any of them. Because it didn't go but about 15 miles an hour.
It must have been an old truck.
It did look just like the Clampets almost. I mean, it didn't have a top
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Just like the Clampets.
Yeah.
But a truck with an open, yeah,
open top, yeah.
yeah.
I don't know whatever happened to it.
Probably, you could probably figure out what year that was or somewhere around the old truck that had a cab top on it.
Yeah.
So they took it all over the place delivering stuff, did they, or just?
I guess we're all playing. I don't know what to do. I just know. But
Just remember
see, I
the
do
story
know
of the struggle buggy.
they lost their pants when they made those Earl's 92 jugs.
Yeah.
We-
They must have sold them, they must have had been a big order for the,
It was Earl's 92, and they wanted a hole in all the jugs to run the car. They were going to be
oh, okay.
lamps.
So the lamps,
They were going to make lamps.
okay, that gives us something closer to watch for, is Earl jugs with,
There was one on eBay, had the sticker on it.
Really?
yeah, they've got older ones with the sticker on, but I've never seen one that I thought was Waco. Would have had a sticker on it, but now, they all would have had a hole drilled in. for
Yeah, in the bottom.
Lamps.
Yeah.
And usually you can tell they're cast. There's a ring around where the mold goes on and they're put together and
Mhm.
On the
they or
piece-
a piece on the bottom and two for the top, so the handle's molded on it too.
Yeah.
Now these were actually,
Thrown. So well, I keep watching for them. I have to bookmark and really try to find one. I'm just yeah. So they made a lot of jugs. Well,
but they did pick up some stuff. They went down there to wherever they were selling it, and they brought back little washing machines.
Mm-hmm.
And they sit on a little table thing.
Yeah, you said yeah. They brought your washing machine when they could have picked up a piano.
Yeah.
The little miniature washing machine.
Well, it was just almost not, it was a little bit bigger than a lard can. And it sat on a stool, and it was on little rubber legs, and it shimmied back and forth.
Plugged it in, did you?
Yeah, I mean, it's electric.
Oh, okay.
But now it didn't have a ringer.
Yeah.
I mean, there was
yeah.
no ringer.
Yeah.
And it would hold one sheet and 2 pillowcases. I mean,
Uh-huh.
that was the most it would, but it was on those little rubber things.
But you
in
didn't
there.
have the ringer washer yet, though,
Uh-uh.
did you? So your mom was doing everything with a washboard.
Right,
Yeah. So to her, it's like, boy,
But-
something to do a
yeah.
sheet without a washboard.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
All I got to do is rinse it and wring it and hang it on the line, and I
no
got
ringer
clean-
even on it.
No, but I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, compared to washing it by hand on a scrub
Right,
board.
right.
You know, just taking it out and rinsing it in
Right.
clean water and wringing it out and putting it on the line would have been, yeah, to her, maybe not to you.
Right.
But
No,
to her,
no, I
she
remember.
probably thought it was
I
the
didn't like
world.
washing too good. And then even after I married, we sent our sheets to the laundry in the winter. And, 'cause we lived in an apartment, and of course then they didn't have washers and dryers and stuff in your apartments.
Mhm.
So in the summer, I'd go back out to Waco, you know, to do my laundry. And Mom would make me, because if you ever have sheets done in the laundry, they look real good.
Oh, yeah.
But then
Yeah.
when you go to wash them, they take on a dingy, or they did back then. And she'd make me hang mine behind the garage.
Oh, oh, because they were dingy.
She wasn't gonna be accused of having dingy sheets. And I don't know what happened to the little old washing machine. I have no idea. I guess it just rusted out finally, because we did get a wringer washer.
Yeah, which were wonderful. We used to have one ourselves.
Right.
They're wonderful. I still like ring.
And I remember the ice boxes too. You got they did come around to houses.
The Iceman came around with them.
And then sometimes we'd go to town in between and you'd set it on the bumper. And you had half of it when you got back, when you got home. The other half you dribbled it out. So,
Yeah, I remember an old Iceman joke. It's just from reading old papers about, has the Iceman been here yet? It says, well, there's a wet place on the porch, I guess he has. So,
so that's
I'm sure it was important as soon as the Iceman got there to take your piece of ice and put it in the refrigerator.
right.
Yeah.
And then you get you some chipped ice.
Right. But, and we thought that was pretty good. You had ice.
Chipped ice, oh yeah, compared to no ice. Compared to spring water.
What's the old song? We've come a long ways, baby. Yeah.
We went up and looked at that spring, didn't we? That
Yeah.
the spring just up the. We looked at that spring that had the foundation over top of it.
Up the road there.
Yeah, yeah. Right across the road, kind of up the road, just a little
Up the road about a quarter of a
big
mile.
spring.
Up there at Babbitt.
It died.
Almost. Up there across from the log house with that McIntosh that owns the auction place there.
Yeah.
It's just that me and you and Larry went up
Yeah,
there
yeah,
after we left the Waco Pottery that day.
yeah. Where all they had
Went
all
up
the
there.
piles of broken pottery there around the garage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big spring house.
Yeah. Yeah, they're good.
Big foundation where there'd been a big spring house.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, almost like there's been some type of operation there.
Yeah, yeah. Keep your cows milk in the spring. Dairy comes around and picks it up.
The furnace. Is it still?
Oh, he's all asleep there. He's got his tongue hanging out.
Oh, yeah, that,
Yes.
he sleeps with it out more than ever with the clothes.
He's awake.
He's ready to attack.
He's ready to attack. He just took one leg.
He's on guard.
Oh,